Imagine being the most respected man on Wall Street. Banks, celebrities, and charities are begging you to take their money. You are the symbol of success, untouchable, powerful. But there is a problem. You haven't invested a single cent of that money. For 20 years, you have been building the largest house of cards in human history. This isn't a movie script. This is the story of Bernie Madoff, the man who stole $64 billion out of thin air and destroyed thousands of lives in the process. Welcome to Shadow Empire. Today, we uncover the lie that fooled the world. To understand the crime, you first have to understand the man. Bernie Madoff wasn't a shady character hiding in the shadows. He was the chairman of the NASDAQ. He was a pillar of the community. While the market was volatile, Bernie was steady. Month after month, year after year, 10% returns. Like clockwork. No volatility, no risk, just profit. But his greatest trick wasn't financial, it was psychological. Madoff didn't ask for money. He refused it. He created an aura of exclusivity. If you wanted to invest with Bernie, you had to be invited. It was the ultimate velvet rope. The fear of missing out made people blind. They didn't ask questions because they felt lucky just to be in the room. But while the world was blinded by greed, one man in a small office in Boston was staring at the numbers, confused. His name was Harry Markopolos, a mathematical genius who didn't care about fame. He only cared about the math. In 1999, Harry tried to replicate Madoff's strategy. He looked at the charts. It didn't take him years to find the fraud. It didn't take him months. It took him 5 minutes. The chart was too perfect. Real markets breathe, they crash, they bleed. But Madoff's returns, they went up in a straight 45-degree line, like a heartbeat that never changes rhythm. Harry realized immediately. That represents a statistical impossibility. He knew there were only two options. Either Madoff was using illegal inside information, or he was running the largest Ponzi scheme in history. Markopolos went to the SEC, the police of Wall Street. He handed them the evidence on a silver platter. He titled his report, "The World's Largest Hedge Fund is a Fraud." But the regulators, they ignored him. They laughed. Madoff was a legend. Harry was a nobody. Harry became paranoid. He knew Madoff was powerful. He started checking under his car for bombs. He slept with a loaded gun next to his bed. He was hunting a monster, but he was terrified the monster was hunting him back. But inside the lipstick building in Manhattan, there were two realities. On the 19th floor, a legitimate trading business operated in the light. But 2 floors down, on the 17th floor, was the cage. Windows covered with blinds, ancient computers, and a small team of uneducated employees creating fake paper trails. The strategy was simple, a classic Ponzi scheme, but on a nuclear scale. When a new investor gave Bernie $1 million, he didn't invest it. He simply put it in a Chase bank account and used it to pay the old investors who wanted to cash out. Not a single trade was made for decades. The $64 billion empire was nothing more than a printer and a bank account. And nobody, absolutely nobody, noticed. Every Ponzi scheme has an expiration date. For Bernie Madoff, that date was December 2008. The global economy was melting down. People were panicking. Suddenly, everyone wanted their money back. But the music had stopped. On December 10th, Bernie sat his sons down and said the words that destroyed everything. It's all one big lie. The next morning, the FBI knocked on his door. The game was over.
11825, code 6, 105 North Avenue, 52.
The aftermath wasn't just a financial crisis. It was a massacre. We hear about the celebrities, Kevin Bacon, Steven Spielberg, but they recovered. The real victims were the retirees in Florida, the teachers, the Jewish charities that had trusted him with everything. People lost their homes. Some lost their will to live. But the darkest tragedy happened inside the Madoff family itself. Mark Madoff, Bernie's eldest son, claimed he knew nothing, but the world didn't believe him. The shame was suffocating. Exactly 2 years to the day of his father's arrest, Mark Madoff was found dead in his apartment. He took his own life while his 2-year-old son slept in the next room. And the man who caused it all? Bernie was sentenced to 150 years in prison, the maximum sentence. He spent his final years in a federal medical center, watching the news of his son's death from a TV in a cage. Bernie Madoff died on April 14, 2021. He was 82 years old. There was no funeral. His family refused to claim his ashes. Bernie Madoff didn't steal $64 billion with a gun. He stole it with a story. He exploited a bug in the human operating system. We want to believe in the impossible. We want to believe there's a shortcut to wealth without risk. Madoff is gone, but human nature hasn't changed. The greed that created him, it's still here. The fear of missing out, it's stronger than ever. Right now, somewhere in the world, the next Bernie Madoff is shaking someone's hand. He's promises consistent returns. He's making you feel special. And he's waiting for you to stop asking questions. History teaches us that the brightest lights often cast the darkest shadows. Be careful who you trust, because sometimes the devil wears a suit. This is Shadow Empire. If you want to spot the lies before it's too late, make sure to subscribe. See you in the next one.